Welcome back to this week's episode of Ouens with Opinions. My name is Dane. If you are listening to us on Spotify, be sure to give us a like and a follow. If you are listening on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you will be notified of new content. Let's get back to the podcast. Enjoy. So, how are you guys doing today? It's a Sunday evening. How are you guys?
We made it to the start of another week. Thankful.
Glory to Jesus.
Amen.
Glory to
Amen.
God.
Amen. Glory to God.
And you, Ashman?
Hey, bro. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I had a very great day. So yeah, and here we are today discussing a very controversial topic,
No, definitely.
and it's popping around the world, man.
Yeah, especially in South Africa, it's taking place, and it's something that's been not spoken about. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, it's a very important topic to talk about, being that it's something that's happening frequently.
Yeah,
And yeah, abortion. I think our perspective is not spoken about much.
yeah,
There's another perspective that dominates the headlines. So
yeah,
you want to give people both sides of the
yeah,
story so
Yeah.
that they can make a balanced decision and hopefully the right decision.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, because most times people act in a sense of ignorance, doing something that they don't know that's wrong. I don't know about you, Ash, but what do you believe about abortion personally?
It's a very controversial topic, like a lot of people have their own opinions on it. But yeah, personally, I know where I stand with the topic, and it's become a norm almost.
Yeah.
Like it's fine to do.
Yeah.
It's like just another alternative and another gateway
Yeah.
out of a situation that people have put themselves in. So yeah, that's my take on it. I mean, we'll probably dive deeper into
No,
it
definitely.
like as the podcast goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But as you say, as you stand at this moment, are you for or against abortion?
I am against abortion.
Okay. Daniel, what do you believe about abortion?
Yeah, it's a sad situation. And yeah, I basically off the bat do not believe in aborting human beings because
Yeah.
because as soon as conception occurs, that is a human being that is formed.
No, definitely.
So there are nuances to the situation. There are stuff we're gonna get into, but
Yeah.
what it is, yeah, it is you're taking the life of a human being. Ultimately, if you strip the whole situation to its bones,
Yeah.
that is a human being.
Yeah.
It's in its environment and situation that it is.
Yeah.
It's in the womb of its mother, but
Yeah.
it's still a human being, and that is a life that was formed. So, yeah, I'm not for just taking somebody's life.
Okay. So it's safe to say you're against abortion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Against abortion, never.
So on my side, what I believe about abortion is I believe everything that Daniel says is also the same opinion that I share. I believe abortion is wrong. It's murder. And most people are doing it out of an act of ignorance because they don't know all the facts behind abortion. As Ash said as well, it's about convenience as well. So at the end of the day, abortion is wrong, and we are going to dive into it as we go further on in this podcast today. So we are against abortion, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we continue?
No, let's get right into it.
Yeah, man.
No
let's
stress.
Dive deep, man.
Okay. So I'd like to start off with the history of abortion. Do you guys know any history about abortion, where it might have originated from? And what facts do you guys know?
Anything I know is probably attached to Planned Parenthood, but I'm sure there's more history
Yeah.
before Planned Parenthood had started over in America with the, I forgot the woman's name. Is the name not? Yeah, but Planned Parenthood.
Mm.
That's, as I would say, as far back I can think of anything that has to do with abortion on my part. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
Planned Parenthood. So it sounds nice, the word Planned Parenthood.
Mm.
When you think about it, what do you think, Ash?
Planned Parenthood. I think about okay. It really does sound like a very nice thing,
It's
like,
quite ambiguous now.
hey man, Planned Parenthood. Yeah, we're gonna plan how we're gonna be parents,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
what you think, but
But the
Is-
truth is,
the truth is, it's not planned at all.
yeah,
There's a life involved,
yeah,
and people take and make decisions, and
Yeah.
they take the decisions in their own hands, and they end up making
yeah.
wrong decisions.
Like for me, if I hear Planned Parenthood, then I initially think of abstinence. Like,
Yeah.
because you're planning your parenthood.
Yes.
So if you're going to plan to your parenthood, then you would plan not to have sex at a time that isn't appropriate
Yeah.
and abstain from it until an appropriate time.
Yes,
That's
yes,
how I
yes.
see it.
Yeah.
And you guys, what else would you like to add about Planned Parenthood?
Oh no, I just had to confirm. I always said a name that was probably not associated with it, but
Yeah.
obviously Planned Parenthood started in America
Yeah.
by a woman named Margaret Sanger.
Hmm.
And,
Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, as you guys were trying to describe the organization just off the name, basically part of it is that, but the other part is if you are expected to become a parent, but you don't want to be a parent at that specific time.
Yeah.
They would have advised abortion, but also they would have advised contraceptives.
Oh, is this under the Planned Parenthood by
Yeah.
Margaret now? Okay.
Yeah, and the organization. So they deal with like providing, like contraceptives
Okay.
and providing, I think, like these women condoms as well.
Okay.
And then men condoms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff that will prevent you reproducing.
Okay.
And then ultimately, if you have reproduced, terminating that reproduction. So yeah, that's the Planned Parenthood thingy.
So under those things, I listed 3 things. So under Planned Parenthood, they give you contraceptives, they give you condoms for the male and female, and abortion as an option in order to plan your parenthood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially.
But if you think about it, are you a parent if you don't have children, basically? If you want to dive into that type of thing. Like, I mean, the whole wording is stupid if you think about it. What do you think, Ash?
Hey man, parent means you're gonna be a parent to something.
Exactly.
Right? If there needs to be another life involved, if you produce, then you don't just say, okay, I'm a parent, and you don't have any offspring or anything like that.
Exactly.
You would look at any animal and you would say, this is the parent animal.
Yes.
This is the father animal, this is the mother animal of
male and female.
Yes, this is their offspring,
Yeah.
this is the baby, this is the so yeah, man, it's very the language that is used is very ambiguous, man.
Oh, I agree.
It's very ambiguous.
I mean, people are forgetting the actual meaning of words. I mean, they know that we don't know.
People have been saying that there's been an evolution now, that words are evolving and changing their meaning.
Yeah.
So
they actually taught that to us at university as well. Neologism or something like that. It's basically where words transform.
It's on a variety of topics, even as far as vaccinations and now this this topic.
Yeah, it's something that's important that has to be spoken about in South Africa, of course.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add in the meantime about the history before I actually go into the deeper history of abortion?
I mean, if we're going to be talking about deep history and ancient history, we're going to have to look at biblical references.
That's true.
Because the Bible does record historical events that have taken place in the world. And so making reference to those events that have happened, we can look as far back as to the Canaanites and what was happening there.
Okay.
But I'm sure
Okay. So briefly, what do you know about the history of abortion?
in terms of biblical,
In terms of history, because as we know, the Bible is basically history.
yes.
So
So child sacrifices.
oh, okay. So it was a form of child sacrifice.
Yeah. I mean, you can delve deeper into this. I mean, I don't wanna speak out of my turn, but
Okay.
yeah, let's hear from you,
Well, I
Mr.
do
Daniel.
have it here in front of me. It's the website called gotquestions.org. Okay. And the question that I posed on Google was, who was Moloch? Okay, Moloch is important to understand because what happened in ancient times, as I'm about to read, is that most of the Middle East believed in Moloch, Molech. It went by many names, in which child sacrifice was a way to worship this deity. And in worshiping this deity, they would heat up the base of the altar,
Mm,
and then it would, I'm not sure what type of material it was made out of, but then it must have been of stone or
bronze,
of
probably.
aluminium, gold,
Bronze, maybe.
bronze. Okay, yes, those that can conduct heat basically.
Mm.
And then on top of the altar, the hand of Moloch was holding up on that, like his hands were like in a cup shape,
Yes, yes.
and the priest or whoever it was put the baby on top of that, and the baby melted
Mm.
into the body of the Moloch, the this deity. And this took place in history, and the Bible records this as well.
That was for the Ammonites, right? The god of the Ammonites.
We're actually gonna have a look at it now as well. I'm not sure, but hopefully we'll see what's going on here. So, the exact origin of Moloch worship is unclear. The term Moloch is believed to have originated with the Phoenician MLK, which is referred to a type of sacrifice made to confirm or acquit a vow.
Mm.
Then later, the Hebrew word mixed in with it, and they called it Melech, which means king. It was common for the Israelites to combine the name of pagan gods with the vowels in the Hebrew word for shame. So it was Bosheth. Okay, so stay with me. This is how the goddess of fertility and war, Astarte, I'm obviously mispronouncing that word, became Ashtoreth. And Ashtoreth was recorded in the Bible, of course.
Mm.
Okay. And what happened during this time is that Ashtoreth was his consort, Molech, of course. So Molech and Ashtoreth were two gods that the Israelites worshipped.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happened during this time is that there was also ritual prostitution was also important as a form of worship. Now
Yeah.
hold on to that. Before we continue, do you guys know what ritual prostitution is?
Well, I mean,
Daniel?
off the head.
Yeah. I think I've a brief. I think I read about it briefly
Yeah.
somewhere as I was probably researching something else, but obviously.
And what did you find out?
Oh, wait, what is this? Like making offerings to a sex goddess. I
Yep.
don't know what her name was. What was her name?
They always went by many names, of course.
Yeah, but then obviously going to a temple and then
Yeah.
having sexual
Yeah.
intercourse with
Mm.
the prostitutes available who were basically priests at the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you would be doing it with them, and then after that would have been your sacrifice to that specific
Yeah.
goddess or god in that specific region,
Mm.
wherever it was. So
Yeah. And what I found when I typed in ritual prostitution, the word religious prostitution came up. And what I found is that it's defined as having sexual intercourse with a person other than one's spouse
Mm.
for a religious or sacred purpose. So in this situation, a woman engaged in such practices is called a temple prostitute. And through modern connotations of the term prostitute may or may not be appropriate, but given the religious and cultic signification of the activities. So basically, I read this on academic.com, okay? And this is what they defined religious prostitution as. So even part of the sacrifice to Molech religious prostitution took place, where you would sacrifice the woman as a sexual um, instrument in this ritual, of course. So it was quite a untidy time. I don't know what other word you would put there.
I think what was happening back then was God made his rules, right?
Yeah.
And he already made the rule. He's like, hey,
Ten
listen,
Commandments, right?
yeah, you shall not worship any other God but me.
Yeah.
That's what God says. And then these people, the Ammonites and the Canaanites, they still refuse to listen to God, and they instead sacrifice babies to gods Molech and Ashtaroth, right? That's the goddess of the Sidonians. So all these things were happening, right, back then. And the sad thing is, there was a king, and he was very glorious, but he fell to these different gods,
Who was that king?
King Solomon, you see. And I'm pretty sure that it might be a shocker, but I mean, having 700 wives,
Yeah.
some of them definitely did steer him away.
Yeah. What do you think, Daniel?
Led him astray.
Yeah, most definitely.
Hey,
You can't
man.
having
Niggas are weak.
having so many women speaking into your ear.
Hey, bro. How many wives did he have now again?
He had like 300 wives and 700 concubines.
Oh my
Oh, is
goodness.
it? Oh, I thought it was 700 wives and 300 concubines.
No.
Wasn't it like 900 concubines? Basically had a lot of women.
Yeah,
We need to check this, man.
Huh?
Point of the matter is he had a lot of women. So all that history, right? Yeah, it's very informative.
Yeah.
And also to show that this is something that has been reoccurring. It's not a new phenomenon. I mean, most of the stuff that we read about in history or in biblical history, and we see, oh, people were doing that, but in their own way.
Yeah.
It's it's informative in terms of letting us know just how dire the human situation is when you talk about the nature of human beings.
How fallen we are, yeah.
Like, imagine really just sacrificing your child.
Yeah.
On an altar, and you can. I mean, we played a video earlier where the person tried to enact probably what the people were hearing in that environment. Kids screaming.
Yeah.
As they're being burnt or offered on the altar. Right? So that is something like kind of like, it's
similar to what's happening in the womb. That child still feels the pain.
Yeah, the child feels the pain, and yeah, it's kind of like the more it happens, the more the more numbing it becomes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's. I mean, I'm even trying to process it somewhat.
Yeah. The more you think about it, the more you like feel kind of dirty that this has been taking place throughout history.
Yeah, throughout history, different generations, different cultures having somewhat a form of just ultimately sacrificing children.
So Planned Parenthood is not like a 21st century idea. It's always been there.
Basically.
In some form or other. Ash, you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. What I do want to just get back to is godquestions.org. It says here, just a bit more background on who Molech was. So the Phoenicians were a loosely gathered group of people who inhabited Canaan. Okay, this is modern day Lebanon, Syria, and Israel between 1550 BC and 300 BC. In addition to sexual rituals, Molech worship included child sacrifice, or passing children through the fire. It is believed that the idols of Molech were giant metal statues of a man with a bull's head. Doesn't that sound like Baphomet?
Sounds like Satan, man.
Definitely. Each image had a hole in the abdomen and possibly outstretched forearms that made a kind of ramp to the hole. A fire was lit in and around the statue. Babies were placed in the statue's arms or in the hole. When a couple sacrificed their firstborn, they believed that Moloch would ensure financial prosperity for the family and future children. Okay. Later, the name of Moloch in North Africa was renamed as Kronos, and it went further on to change into it migrated to Carthage in Greece, and his mythology grew to include his becoming a titan.
Yeah. Didn't Cronus eat like the children?
I'm not sure of that.
Because they like
Yeah.
gave him babies and
Hectic.
stuff like, and Zeus was supposed to be one of them, but then Gaia takes Zeus and like raises him, and then he actually defeats Cronus. Yeah. So there's a whole lot of things that happen.
That's crazy,
that's,
bro.
Greek
That's crazy.
mythology.
Yeah, Greek mythology. Yeah.
So then it's clear then abortion was always there in
some,
history, basically.
some form or another, you know.
Wow, that's madness. And I just want to read this one last line before we continue. And Moloch is affiliated with and sometimes equated to Baal, although the word Baal was used to designate any god or ruler. Okay, so it's also Baal was also part of this religion of having to put the child through the fire. Think about Samson as well. Samson being in the same place as the Philistines worshiping Baal. You understand? Which means that in that as well, they were also passing the children through the fire. So it understands that God's judgment against the Philistines was justified based on how they were living their lives, not only because of their their sexual acts or them stealing and killing from Israel, but also what they were doing to their own people.
There's something in the Bible in Proverbs, I think, and it says God hates the spilling of innocent blood, man.
Sure. That's true. That's true.
Oh, he hates the hands that spill innocent blood.
I mean, if you ask yourself the question, those that actually have, how do I say, those that have committed abortion, what type of characteristics do they inherit after that? Are they the same as they were before the abortion, or do you see like character traits that have changed around them?
I think it would be a very sensitive topic, you know, for some people, you know, because I mean, I've heard of stories of women that actually really fall into depression and they wonder, like, you know, what would happen if I had that baby?
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, that kind of behavior. And yeah, man, I mean, you have people that lose their babies, man, and they wish that they had the opportunity, and you have these people out here aborting them.
That's crazy. It's great that you brought that up. Because why is it a tragedy when you lose a child through miscarriage? But at the same time, or arguably, a child that's 10 weeks old and you have a miscarriage, why is it sad? But if it's a child at 10 weeks old and you want to abort the baby, why is there a different attitude?
I think the attitude comes from the whole ideology that it's not a baby yet. And
But why is it a baby when it's miscarriage?
You see. But that ideology comes from the notion of thinking that it's not yet a full baby. It's not. It can't think for itself. It's not sentient.
It's just mostly double standards or
contradictions.
If we're gonna just cut straight to it.
yeah,
it's
just a
contradiction.
double standard.
Ambiguous.
In one situation you want to say this, in another situation you want to say that. That's just what it is.
Okay. So we just wanted to uncover, obviously, the historical
aspect.
Yeah, of where this abortion story started. Could have gone further back, but from what we have found, it dates back to the time when the Canaanites were dealing with these type of things. But it could go further back if you do more research on this type of thing. Is any final remarks you want to make on the history of abortion? Anything you found there, Daniel?
Now, my final remark would be to go look it up for yourself.
Yeah.
And read it up and see, just get the full story on it.
Okay.
Do the research, man.
Yeah, do the research.
Yes. So, Mr. Ash, can you just, people always say we are for abortion and stuff, and then they have to provide a reason to justify that opinion about it. Can you please just share with us what are the common points about why abortion is fine?
Okay, well, there's a lot of people that would say in certain situations abortion would be appropriate, or they would be accepted in certain situations, and
justified.
Yes, they are justified, in certain situations. And one of the most common arguments for abortion is rape.
Oh, okay.
Rape and incest.
Wow.
And I mean, fair enough. It must be a very terrible thing. Going through that trauma.
Yeah.
But what did the baby do? We can blame the father for sure, and justice needs to be served. But what did the baby do?
It's a good question.
So then there's other topics that they would bring out, or arguments rather, would be
arguments for abortion. You say
for abortion would be the notion of having an unwanted pregnancy. So and then another one would be the whole we have this whole trend happening now, my body, my choice. So these are the main arguments, but we can dive into each, separately,
Yeah, no, definitely. What do you think about those 3 points, Daniel?
What do I think personally?
Yeah, what's your opinion?
I would say those are stuff that do happen.
Yeah.
Situations that are overall sad to experience.
Traumatic, man.
Well, okay, let me not say all those situations. Being raped is obviously an awful experience for somebody to go through, a female. Incest, also having a family member who you supposedly are supposed to trust, you do something like that. But going into unwanted pregnancy and my body and my choice, it really does come down to being selfish in a sense and being inconsiderate. Yeah, because if you did not want a pregnancy, now we're talking about two adults taking part in the act of reproductive
activities.
We
can call it that.
Procreation.
Yeah.
If you do something that has a certain consequence like that, and that is going to be the result, it would feel it is quite kind of selfish to now want to have the kid suffer, or the human being suffer that has been formed through that act.
Yeah.
It was, for me, honestly, whenever I think about issues like that, I always wonder, the person who is going for the abortion or saying let's have an abortion, would they have approved if their parents said that about them?
Yeah.
Because it's very easy and nice to be on the earth, having lived a few years, having seen what you've seen, and then something happens, you don't like it, and after you want to say, oh, let me abort this because it's inconvenient and stuff like that. So
I mean, you don't hear like someone saying, let me abort my 15-year-old kid.
Yeah. Because the common question is then if we will get into that. I don't know. You obviously heard that line a lot of times.
Which one?
You don't hear anybody wanting to abort a 15-year-old kid for convenience reasons. So what's the difference between a 15-year-old kid and someone who is in your womb? They both eat your food, first of all. So do they deserve to die?
And the thing is, the child, the fetus is really vulnerable. Oh, you only something that we're gonna come across or speak about. But the fetus is really vulnerable because it's literally under your power.
Under your authority, under your protection, of
under
course.
Your covering. You mistreat it, there's nothing it can do. There was this other, I don't know if there was this other quote that said that if people want to abort, let's at least give the babies a fair chance. Let's equip every baby in the womb with an AK-47.
Hectic.
with a certain amount of.
That's a bit extreme as
I
well.
mean, but what he's trying to say is the baby is so vulnerable in the womb that if you do decide that you want to abort it, there is nothing it can do. So if this was a fair situation, at least have the baby defend itself. Because that's what people outside the womb are trying to do for it. Not some people.